Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey Troxel. All right, so it is Sunday, the day before school starts. It's August 4th. I think so, yeah. August 5th, tomorrow is the first day of school. I'm really excited. As you know, I'm a teacher, and I get to see the students for the first time. A lot going on. I've had to basically work. Well, I started back at work this past Monday, so I've been there for a week, but I've had to work at home on the weekend too, get my classroom ready, get Google Classroom ready, get all that stuff ready, try and get licenses for software and all that stuff that we do every year just to make the school year get started. So that's all happening. I am ready to go back to work. I'm ready to get back on a routine. The summer was not good to me. I had a lot going on. I don't know how I did it all, but it was really hard to stick to anything because I was constantly at a conference or away on a trip or a week here. Like, I was just away from home so much and really didn't have any of my stuff with me. So I'm really glad to get back on a routine. I want to first thank our Patreon and PayPal and financial supporters for helping us put the show together and get the message, the plant-based message, out to the public. Without them, none of this would exist. If you ever thought how I could help the show, how can I be part of this, there's a link in the description below on how you can become part of the Plant-Based Dads team. So when I'm creating a recipe, I try and keep it within 440. And here's what that means. I try and keep the calories under 400 and the grams of protein somewhere near 40, just under or above. And that way I get the most protein I can for the calories. Now on a plant-based diet, that's not easy to do. Today I'm going to show you how I make my Shirataki protein noodle stir fry. It makes use of the Shirataki noodles. I'm going to put a picture of them right here. It's a little bag of noodles and the whole bag is 0 calories depending on which ones you get. So you can bulk up your meal with these. You can throw these in there and it just changes the size of the meal to something much bigger. All right, this is a very big plate of food. The whole recipe makes 1 serving, and I'll tell you about the calories and the protein after it's done. Let's get to the food. Today we're gonna make a Shirataki noodle protein stir fry, and the key to this whole dish are these Shirataki noodles right here. They're kind of a noodle substitute made of cognac flour, and according to the package, there's 0 calories. So we're gonna work with this. The first thing I wanna do is cut this open and get it into the sink to drain and rinse because it's in some type of water with something in it to keep it fresh, and I don't wanna be digesting that. I'm just gonna cut these noodles open and dump them right into this colander. I'm gonna separate them a little bit here and get some cold water. Well, with Arizona we don't have cold water, but and get some water running over these to rinse these all off. I want to get that liquid all off of there. Like get it through here, and it smells pretty bad. It smells like it's fish, which is what it smells like. So you got to get that off there. All right, I'm just going to let that sit there. I don't know, while I'm doing everything else until I'm ready to use it. That'll give me at least a chance to get most of that water out and some of that smell out. All right, let's get going. The first thing we're using here is 2 teaspoons of this gochujang fermented red pepper paste. This really just takes the stir fry and brings it up a notch. So I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of that in. And it sticks to the spoon, so you're going to have to get your hands wet here. It ain't pretty, but there you go. Next, I'm going to use some of this mirin right here. And I'm going to throw in 2 teaspoons of mirin. After that, I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar. Then I've got about 3 garlic cloves that I've run through the garlic press. I just squeezed it out, so I'm popping that in. I'm also putting in about a ½ inch of ginger that I, just chopped off the little stalk and then ran through the grater. Then I'm going to put in some sesame oil. I'm just using this brand here. It's in Japanese, so I don't know what to call it. I guess it's Kadoya. This stuff is strong and high in calories, so a little goes a long way. I'm just using ½ a teaspoon, and that's it. There you go. Then I'm using about 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to add a little pinch of salt right here. And then about a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm just going to grind it in there. I love black pepper, so I'm not worried about having too much, but you season it with salt and pepper to taste. All right, so I'm gonna take my whisk and get this going here. I'm gonna mix this sauce up until it's all combined. This whisk is probably way too big for this little cup. All right, I think that's ready to go. So there's our stir fry sauce. We're just gonna set this aside until we need it. All right, so I've got a non-stick pan here. I'm going to set this to medium-high heat and get this started. I'm going to start with my seitan. I've got about 150 grams here, or 6 ounces of seitan. And I'm just using this Franklin Farms brand right here. I'm going to move that around. Oops, what's going on here? I'm going to move that around and let that stir fry for a minute. And you can add a little water to the pan if you need to. That's what I just did. I don't want it to stick. You may have to adjust the heat. But you can see it's starting to brown, which is great. We're just going to stir fry that for about a minute or two. After that, we're adding about a small onion, or 50 grams, and about 1 carrot. Again, we're just going to move that around and get that going. We're stir frying this, so we're using higher heat and quicker cooking times. And you don't want it to burn, so if you have to adjust the heat, oops, then do that. I'm going to try and break up the onions here, since I didn't do a great job when I was cutting them. I'm just going to heat this for just a few minutes to get it all combined. All right, while that's cooking in, I'm going to add about 1 small red bell pepper here that I've kind of cut into slices. Apparently not that good of a job. Hello. All right. They're already looking good. Holy smoke. Look at all those veggies and that seitan. Yummy. I could eat this right now just like this. I'm just going to keep moving it around and make sure I stir fry it. Now I'm just adding water as needed. So the stuff doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. I want to get the onions soft and the veggies a little soft before I go to the next step. But I don't want them to burn. Now I do have a half a cup of broccoli that I'm going to throw in, but I'm not going to throw in it now because I already steamed it in the microwave. It's a microwave bag, so it's already cooked. So I don't want to throw it in now. It'll just become mushy. So I'm going to let all this cook, and then right when this is done, I'll throw in the broccoli and mix it all together. Holy smoke, that is looking good. Wowza. All right, everything's starting to look pretty cooked. You can see the onions here are getting brown. So I'm going to throw in the broccoli here and get that mixed up. Again, this broccoli's already cooked, which is why I didn't throw it in earlier. So I'm just kind of mixing it up so it all looks nice and uniform. I'll let that heat up just for a moment. All right, then I've got a glass bowl right here, and I'm just going to dump this into the glass bowl and get it out of the pan. All right, I'm going to throw a little water in the pan to make sure that stuff on the bottom isn't sticking here. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. And now I'm going to add my noodles right to the hot pan here. I'm going to move those around. And I want those to crisp up in the hot pan. I also want them to get some color from all the drippings and all that stuff that's in there. See how they're turning brown from the seitan that was in there? That's exactly what I want. So I want to get these cooked. That'll also get some of that fishy smell out of them. So we wanted to keep moving this around until the water down here gets evaporated and the noodles start like sticking to the pan. And then we'll throw our sauce in. So for now, we're not there yet. All right, we're starting to get there. You can see we're down to like just a non-stick surface here with no water. And you can hear the noodles as I'm moving them. It's almost like having to be slightly scraped off the pan. So this is where we want to be. I want to give it a minute or two here, maybe a minute, and then dump everything, all the vegetables back in. All right, I think we're there. I'm going to dump the vegetables back in here. Let's get all this mixed up here. And I'm going to dump in my sauce mixture that we made earlier. And that's all the flavor right there. And that'll take out any of that fish flavor that's left. Oh yeah, I can smell that. Holy smoke. That's got a great, great smell to it. From the sesame oil, I can smell that. And the mirin and the wine, holy smoke. This is looking very good. So any smell that those noodles had before, that's gone. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat off. Just let this mix in here for a minute. We don't need it to cook anymore, everything's cooked. Look at that, look how good this looks. Holy smoke. Get those noodles moved around because they're all kind of hanging out in one place. All right, let's move this around and give it a taste here and see what it tastes like. The key is that you don't want to have that taste of the noodles in there, that fishy taste that you get or that fishy smell that you get. All right, so I'm trying to get a little bit of everything on the fork here, right? Let's see what we've got. Oh, no. This is so good. Oh, yeah. It tastes like just a whole cup of sesame oil in there. When all we put in was that half a teaspoon. Sesame oil goes a long way. Holy smoke. The seitan in here is a really nice, way to get the protein in. All right, so this whole thing, everything in this pot is one serving, and it's under 400 calories and over 40 grams of protein. I'm gonna grab my fork and dig in, and then we're gonna talk about the macros. All right, so you saw how much food was in that frying pan, right? That whole thing, all of that is one serving. And let me go to the macros here. I'm gonna throw them on the screen for you so you can see what I'm looking at. All right, so you can see all the ingredients right here and how much of each ingredient is there so you know what to put in. If you go to the nutrition facts, the calories are just the way it is, 376.2. So 376 calories. That's pretty good for that big plate of food. I mean, that's a lot of food. The fat is 6.4 grams. That's pretty good. You've got 47.4 grams of carbohydrates and 45 grams of protein. That meal is under 400 calories by a lot at 376, and it's over 40 grams of protein. It's 45. This is a great meal if you want a lot of food for few calories. This is one of those, eat larger meals, right? But don't eat more calories. This is it right here. I absolutely love this meal. If you make this, let me know because you're gonna love it too. But you gotta do what I do with those noodles. You gotta drain them and let them sit for a while. And then you gotta cook them on their own in the hot skillet so it kind of burns some of that scent off and kind of crisps them up a little bit. And then that sauce, that gochujang based chili sauce, that red pepper chili sauce, oh man, that's the primary taste and scent in the whole recipe. And once that's in there, that's all you're gonna taste. So it's an absolutely amazing dish if you're counting calories. All right, that's our video today. Hit that like button, show us some love. Click on the subscribe button and click that bell. You get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Tuesday. And leave a comment below. Have you made anything with these noodles? Have you ventured out to try these? It was a pretty big step for me to try these, but I'm so glad I did. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.